Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
You know, I talk a lot on this podcast about strategies and tactics and attitudes and habits, and I get into studies that do a lot of things to talk about, okay, this is how you can become more successful through enhanced professional relationships, business networking, getting more referrals, do these skills, so on and so forth. But what I like to do from time to time is I like to bring somebody on who has lived the dream, who has done these things, I should say. And so you can see, yeah, they work. I'm just not talking to hear myself talk. So today I have on the program with me Lisa DeToffel, and she's the CEO and owner of Tiger Eye Solutions. Now, she started this business in 2018 after she's a veteran of preschool. She was a preschool teacher for 25 years. Thank you for your service. And she left and she started a virtual assistant business. And through that, how she grew it, and that's what part of the story we're going to get into. She did it through networking. And so she's a wonderful case study for how you do these things. And how she got on my radar was she was just sending out information on networking, and I was intrigued. These are neat articles she's writing. And she has networking groups, different things like that. So anyhow, Lisa, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Frank, for having me. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So you were a preschool teacher.
I was for a very long time.
Yeah, that probably took its toll. Now you get to deal with grown adults acting like kids.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they're out there. Some people don't grow up. They don't grow up at all. So you left this preschool job. Did you have thoughts on starting? Well, let's just do this. I guess give us the journey.
The journey, yes.
Yeah, there was a point where you wanted to be a preschool teacher, and I'm sure it was a lot of fun and very rewarding.
Absolutely.
But at some point, like, okay, I've got another chapter in my life, and it
had been a long-time dream of mine to actually work from home. Mm-hmm. However, I had been through 2 messy divorces, single mom 2 different times, and it just didn't seem, it wasn't possible, being the head of the household, the breadwinner, etc. And so after I met my current husband, Jeff, and we got married, and yes, I was enjoying being the preschool teacher and working in the classroom with the kids. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved it. And I probably learned just as much from them as they learned from me, because every day was different. You never know what was going to happen. But I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, that I could possibly make my dream a reality. So in 2018, I actually did that. Made my dream a reality. It took a training program, learned all the ins and outs of being a virtual assistant and starting a business. And that's when I started my networking journey, because I needed to grow my business, right, when I first started it.
Now, so quick question. Was it a conscious decision, hey, I need to network, or was this kind of something that you fell into?
I learned how networking could work through the training program that I was a part of in the beginning. So that was something they taught us.
Good.
Is that, networking could definitely benefit your business and help you grow your business. So I was taught that and started that early on in the early stages of my business. So I realized then, let me back up. I didn't realize then how important it was, just because I was in the beginning stages, and I was one of those that was really shy. I'm an introvert, so if I go to an in-person networking event, I'm the one standing in the corner and don't want to talk to nobody.
Right.
However, over time and learning more about networking and attending online networking events, I learned how important networking was. even if I went to an in-person networking event, I definitely needed to get in there and actually talk to people, at least
Yeah.
3 new people that I did not know at every single event that I attended. Because I
Yeah.
mean, networking is basically just having a conversation with someone, introducing yourself. It's not, a lot of people look at it in a different view as, yeah, you need to dress professionally if you're going to an in-person networking event. And yes, you do need to, a lot of people call it your elevator speech, but be able to tell people about what it is that you do. However, it's just, networking is just the action or process of interacting with others, at the networking event and exchanging information. You tell them who you are, what your business is all about, what you do, and then you also listen to them as they tell you who they are and what they do. And you develop a relationship, a professional relationship or friendship. You gain a new friend
Yep.
basically on a professional level. And it's really a whole lot more simple than people actually make it out to be.
Well, I mean, as you're talking, I'm thinking the word that comes to mind is, well, phrase, leap of faith, right?
Yes,
Because it's not, you knock on a door and ask for a sale, right? Would you buy cookies for me? You
right.
kind of know in the moment, right? It either works or it doesn't.
Yep.
But with networking, it's that leap of faith because, as in your terms, you've made that friend. And not all friends work out. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way. Not
Right.
everything's meant to work out, at least not in the short term.
Yes.
Eventually things pan out and good things come from all relationships. But yeah, it is a leap of faith. And I think that's where people get it wrong. Okay, nothing happened. Lisa, I went to the event, got nothing. I see all the things what did I
Nobody's
do?
interested in working with me. They could
Right.
have cared less about what I told them about my business,
Yeah. And
but
that's
that's not
true.
the case.
Yeah.
Like I said, in the very beginning, I felt that way too. And that's how I looked at networking in the very beginning. But as I have moved forward and progressed in my business, I have learned over time that we really make it out to be something that it really is not. And
Yeah.
we get all nervous and, get in there. And sometimes we share too much information, when
Right.
we're first meeting somebody. So actually crafting an elevator speech, if that's what you want to call it, um, and making it as simple as possible is really beneficial.
Yeah. Well, in looking at you and seeing the materials you put out, um, I have the sense that you're somebody that, yes, you went to events, and it's like a flywheel, right? Or pushing a car. It's like it started slow at first.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know about this networking thing. I'm gonna kind of go, and then you started having some successes, and then it's been this, okay, how I'm going to push this thing faster and faster. And it's more than just going to networking events. And that's what I really want to kind of dive into with you is a lot of the things that you have done, or all the things you have done, um, because it's not just being how many events does she do? Well, probably less than you think at this point, because there's a higher and better use of your time. So I guess
Absolutely.
share your process. You had a networking group for a while. I think you sold that, you had mentioned. So
Yes, I did. However, I'm still big into networking. Don't get me wrong. I still do it all the time. And I actually have a networking community called Relationship Communications. And we're really active in there. We have well over 500 members in the group. And I go live in there. I share all kind of good information to help move your business forward, to help you with your networking efforts. I also have an academy that can also help you with your networking efforts as well.
okay, good. Um, and you put out newsletters, right?
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely. I share
I,
a lot of good tips in my newsletters.
yeah. I mean, I don't like the term funnel, but I guess that's the best way to look at it, right? I mean, you're touching people in lots of different ways.
Yes.
Um, well, and the reason I don't like funnel is because sometimes people, it's manipulative, I guess.
It can be.
Yeah. But in reality, we're all kind of working a funnel, right? I mean, if you're
Yes.
if you're selling roofs or contracting, you're getting lists of names and you're kind of, okay, these people are in an apartment, they don't really matter, or these people are interested, or they just had their roof done or whatever. So we're kind of continually pushing people towards the buying decision.
I look at it like educating,
Yep.
being a former teacher, you can't
Yeah.
take that out of me, right?
Yeah.
But sending out my newsletters, I'm trying to educate others, around what I do, whether it's in my virtual assistant business or whether it's in the networking realm. So I'm sharing my knowledge in these areas, and my experiences, of how I have benefited from networking, how I have grown my virtual assistant business through my networking efforts over the 6 years I've been in business. So yeah, it's I use it as a tool. I like to send out my newsletters and think of it as a tool of just sharing good information with the others, the ones that read my newsletters.
Yeah. Well, you're here now because of that, because I'm on your I was on your list. I think I'm still on your list. Should probably take me off at this point. Take him off. No, but I got a newsletter from you and I'm like, okay, she's got some really neat ideas on networking, and they weren't necessarily groundbreaking. Common sense, that's not always common practice. And,
right.
I network a lot, you network a lot. And so sometimes I think, okay, yeah, doesn't everybody know that? And the reality is they don't.
No.
Right now there's somebody leaving their preschool teaching job and starting a business and didn't take the courses that you took, and they need that stuff.
Exactly.
I assume it all works, right?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Any horror stories, or what are some things that you would, what are some things you may have done along the way that didn't work out for you?
Well, again, just like in the very beginning, before I learned everything that I do know now about networking, I was that really shy person that really went into the networking event not wanting to talk to anybody. And that was not benefiting me in the least. If somebody walked up to me and introduced themselves, great. I would tell them who I am and what I do. But I didn't make that effort to go introduce myself or talk to those at least 3 or 4 new people, right? And that was a bad experience on my part. That was a failure basically, but we fell forward, right?
Yeah.
So I learned from that and learned how to make it all simple and make it all easy.
Was that lesson kind of an aha moment, an epiphany at some point, or did it just sort of happen? Okay.
It was, because I do both. I do in-person and online networking, both. So my in-person is kind of limited now just because of my schedule.
Yeah.
But I learned through a lot of the online networking events and different trainings and things that I attended, how simple you can make it instead of overthinking it, for lack of a better term, because a lot of people do that. When they get ready to attend a networking event, it's like, oh my gosh, I got to go talk about myself and I got to tell people what I do. I hope they like me. I hope they want to work with me or do business with me or buy what I have to offer, right? Yeah. But you're not selling. You do not go to these events to sell somebody something.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I have virtual assistant services. So I have services that I provide that you could purchase, if you are interested in virtual assistant services. But I'm not going to come in there and talk to you and try to sell that to you. I'm going to talk to you on a friendly basis.
Yeah.
Tell you who I am and what it is that I do in a very simple way.
Was that ever on the radar when you first started that, okay, or did they train you well enough to say, hey, you're not here to sell, you're just here to?
Not really. I kind of learned that later on through my networking efforts. Yeah. In the beginning, it was more like I was going in there and trying to sell myself and sell my services. Yeah. But, since those beginning stages, I have learned otherwise.
Yeah. Well, and that can be demoralizing because you set yourself up for failure, really.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do it. I did it. I think everybody everybody kind of gets their knuckles bloodied,
Yeah.
so to speak, doing those things. And for me, it was just very refreshing to realize I didn't have to. I didn't have this pressure.
That was a big aha for me when I realized I don't
Yeah.
have to do it this way.
Yeah. I can have a conversation about sports and it's productive, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it's,
there you
or
go.
whatever it is, recipes or whatever, vacations,
Yep.
whatever it might be, and it being totally, totally productive. Um, I guess let's talk about your courses a little bit.
Yeah,
How
sure.
those, we'll certainly want to get stuff into the show notes. But yeah, go ahead and just, share about your courses.
I actually have a networking academy. It's called the Networking Method Academy. And actually, later this month, I'm doing a 3-day event around networking as well. It's called the Networking Method Launchpad. It's a free event. The 3-day event is free. It starts on September 25th.
Well,
Sharing
this won't come out before then. So I assume
sorry.
well, that's fine. I don't mind. I just don't want people to, where is this? But
Right.
you're doing these things periodically, correct? I mean, it's not
Yes,
like
that is true. So
yeah,
there'll be another one,
yeah,
probably first of next year.
yep.
Um, but yeah, just teaching you the basics in this 3-day event of around networking. And then, of course, the Networking Academy is a well-versed in teaching you how to network, how to put together your elevator speech and make it really, really simple, how to follow up with those you meet at a networking event, how to build power partners. Power partners are those that you meet at the event and you have those one-on-one conversations or coffee chats, I like to call them,
Mm-hmm.
and learn more in depth about that person and their business, and then become referral partners, refer people to this person. There's a lot. There's 10 modules in the academy.
Are these all online?
It is.
Okay,
It
that's
is.
on. Okay.
There's 6 to 8 lessons in every module. There's downloadables, there's videos, there's all kind of content. So yeah, you learn a lot by going through this academy. And like I said, it's kind of the basics to get you to where you want to go and make the most of your networking efforts.
Did you get out and do speaking as well?
I don't. I have not went
Okay.
that route as of yet.
Well, you're an introvert. It's just baby
Yeah, that's
steps here, right? Baby steps. Well, I would imagine you have all the materials.
I do.
People can't see it, but there's a book in the background. Or
Yes,
yeah, so you want to,
absolutely. I'm an international best-selling author as well.
okay. Name the book.
It's called Jumpstart Your Blank.
Okay.
It's a compilation book. I wrote a chapter in the book. It's called Jumpstart Your Follow-Up.
Okay.
You can find this book on my website, tigereyesolution.com, if you're interested in purchasing the book. And you
Okay.
can also get a signed copy by purchasing it off my website because I'll sign
Okay.
it before I send it to you.
Okay. Oh, good. There you go. Anything else you want to share with us about your business? And I will get in the show notes the link for Lisa's website, tigereyesolution.com. Not solutions, just tigereyesolution.com.
Yep. I'm a virtual assistant. I've been in business for 6 years. I have a team. My team and I offer admin services to business owners, such as email newsletters, website updates, social media, and a lot more.
Great. And people can get a hold of you through your website?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I know you gave me your phone number to put in there. I don't want to put your phone number on the in the details here. Well, I appreciate your time today. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AMSPIRIT.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.